Hey, everybody. Welcome to the one and only Friday Night Audit, the only show in hospitality whose quality is plummeting faster than consumer confidence. Thanks so much for being here. That's Craig Sullivan. I'm Glenn Hausman. This is episode 175, Craig. Really exciting. Only 5 shows left until we fulfill that court order. So I'm very excited about that.
Exactly. All the restrictions are off at that point.
I know, right? Think you hate the show now? Just wait. 6 months or so from now, all heck is gonna break loose. See what I did there? I can't use the HELL hockey stick word because we're not for another 25 episodes. You know, right? So
the 25 seconds, so that we're at the 2 minute mark.
Craig, I got to see you this week, bro. We did our first ever car cast.
We did a car cast. We were road tripping with Glenn and Craig, New Yorker driving on California freeways. Nice.
It was blistering interviews at 3 miles an hour. It was awesome.
Till we crossed
the line. Fast interview, slow traffic. You know.
There you go. We'll do that from your house to Manhattan. We'll be
Craig Sullivan. Who's our guest today on the show?
I feel like we work so hard on making sure we don't get content liabilities here, and then you're over here talking about knocking off a show with a Jewish host, sitting in cars having conversations. Is that what we're talking about here? I think he might have a little more power than you.
We're not drinking. We're not drinking anything. We'll eat sandwiches. We'll go. You know,
having sandwiches and SUVs with non-comedians. Is that what we're saying?
Yes. No one's allowed to be funny on our show. Unfortunately,
make that distinction.
There's no chance of that anyway.
Because I think his power of attorney is a lot stronger than yours.
That's a really good point.
He might have a point there, besides the one on top of his head. So.
I want to put up one of those. Warnings that they put at the end of film. Everything is coincidental for any incident, for living and dead, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about, Greg. You're in the Hollywoods. You probably know how to.
Disclaimer, and I'm writing one for the show, so we'll be adding that to the beginning. So yes,
that's good. The disclaimer is going to be the
only disclaimer that we need here is everything is based on a very tragic story.
Yeah, Dave's birth.
Well, everything prior to 1985 is that what
the tragic date is whatever date in December that we met up in the Moxie, and then it was all downhill from there.
All downhill. I know it's been a roller coaster ride. That should have been the opening.
Come on,
get to our guest, Craig.
Very important guest. She is truly one of the best people in the hotel industry. I had the pleasure to have. Yeah. Lan Elliott and Rachel Humphrey join us on stage at Click 8. She's been on Connect. She is a marvelous advocate for our industry. Ms. Lan Elliott, welcome.
Woo!
Look at that smile. Not on the show. Look at her smile. I love it.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Over there. Get the stopwatch going.
It's basically right to the other side of this video.
I'd like to personally thank Dave for that being his best move as producer of all time, right there.
Ever. Not booking no vacancy live guest in 2020. None of that. It was that right there.
Oh, right. I'm thirsty, Dave. I wasn't as thirsty back in 2020. Lan, so how are you? What's going on? And first, tell us what you're drinking and why.
Well, it's going great. I am drinking a gin gimlet. So there you go.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So I went down to go get my my Blue Moon and my Leffe, and I saw something really scary in the fridge outside. There was Miller High Life in there. So now that I have kids over 21, I don't know what to expect.
Oh yeah,
the whole world is being shaken. You know, thought I was comfortable with my high class beers. I thought I was a good parent. And then all of a sudden I show up and there's this Miller High Life in there. Lan, what should I do about this?
Teach your kids to drink better quality beer.
It's a good point. I got to listen to more Crosby, Stills and Nash so I can teach those children well or something.
This is why you have all the gray hair. You don't remember what it's like to be in college. You can't drink the nice stuff in college. You have to have the Natty Light, the Miller High Life. Let them get their kicks in. They'll get to the good beer. Let them enjoy their college crap.
Yeah, but if they're at home and on dad's dime, buy the good stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
Do your kids watch your podcast, Glenn?
No,
His entire interest in anything I do.
But actually,
are they actually on dad's dime though? That's the question. Are they buying their own booze, or are you paying for their drinking patterns?
I'll let you know when I see you next month's Amex bill.
Belgian beer theme though, Glenn. I don't know if you knew this. I lived in Belgium for 3.5 years. So
I did not know that. I love the blonder and Belgian, types of ales. They really suit me well, especially like the Blue Moon. Although made here, I love the creaminess of it.
Yeah.
You're missing an orange there, Glenn. Lan's wonderful bartending husband could have told you that.
Well, yes. I know I'm missing the orange, but I was gone on a 10-day trip, so everything is either not here or rotted at this point in the house. So,
well, what's the problem is, unlike certain people that have elder technology causing disruptions in certain airport markets, you are aware of technology today, and you could have Instacarted yourself a nice fresh orange for when you landed.
David,
I'm gonna get a DoorDash. It'll be $75 orange, but it'll be fresh.
And I feel you could barter with your kids and say, okay, if you make sure that my orange is here and sliced appropriately for my beer, I'll let you buy a 6-pack of anything you want.
That's a really good point, and I like your negotiating tactics. This is why you're a shark and get those deals closed over there, because you know how to be appealing to the other side.
I just an opportunity. So.
That's right. Love it.
Well, Lan, I know who you are. Craig knows who you are. Glenn knows who you are. But for anybody watching the show who is not familiar with your career journey in hospitality, give us a quick 60-second rundown of your experience in the industry, because you are very influential.
I don't know about that, but I can share a little bit about my journey. And, I went to hotel school thinking I wanted to be a luxury hotel GM right up until the moment I worked in hotels. And I thought,
so what happened? You realized you weren't German?
No, I realized that dealing with guests was not my strong suit. And I got to find something else to do because this is way too hard. And I was very lucky to discover the real estate side of the business around that. And so I've spent 30 years in hotel real estate, first as a hotel consultant, real estate consultant, and then 10 years with Host, buying and selling hotels, and with Starwood, heading up development for W in Europe, Africa, Middle East, and then back here to the States, setting up Acacia, where I invest with partners in big box convention hotels, and then a stint at IHG where I ran a team within development, and then back here to Bethesda. And in this chapter, I'm really focused around advancing women in hospitality leadership, because after 30 years in hotel real estate, there were not a lot of women around, and I wanted to help younger women build community and have the tools to succeed that I didn't have when I was coming up.
I love that. And what you and Rachel are doing is just incredible. Speakers list, your alliance is incredible. And are you also calling on Crew, the local chapter there, and introducing them to hospitality, commercial real estate women?
That is a great idea. I know that at the CLIC conference, so a couple things. First, at the CLIC conference, Craig was kind enough to have Rachel and me get up on stage right after his opening introduction to talk about the alliance. But I know you have Crew at your conference very often, and we always think as commercial real estate as being very separate from hotel real estate because it's so different. But I am always a fan of getting commercial real estate people to realize how much more fun hotel real estate is, and that they should come over to this side of the fence.
I agree. And every time I'm at a commercial real estate event here in California speaking, first thing out of my mouth is, I work in the best part of commercial real estate, and I'm sorry for all of you. And that just wins the crowd over like that.
Well, we don't want to tell anybody about it because it's so much fun. Everyone would be here, but it is really a fabulous area of the industry. And I love the complexity of it. The more complicated, the better. And it's just, I love all the moving parts. And like, why sign a lease for 5 to 10 years when you can lease up your building every night? So much better.
I love it. I was telling Glenn before.
Let me tell you guys.
That
Go, Craig. No, go ahead, Craig.
Two of the things that I want to accomplish before I fully retire is I want to sit across the table from you during a negotiation. And then I want to sit next to you for a negotiation. I have got so much respect for you and what you've done throughout your stellar career. And our meeting at the lodging conference last year was so impactful on me. And your dear friend, family, and every one of our conversations is fun. And there's always meaning in them. Now, some of it's just fun, but there's always some meaning in there as well. And, just everything that you've accomplished and what you're doing right now with the Alliance is so needed. We've got such a brain drain that's going to happen in our industry and virtually everyone right now. We've got 5 different generations in the workplace and boomers retiring at the blink of an eye. So I really, so proud and happy that we met and watching what you're doing out there. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for giving us a chance to amplify what we're doing with the Alliance. I think what Rachel came up with, I find that the most genius ideas are really the most obvious. After someone comes up with them, you go, oh, of course, right? Rachel came up with this idea to start the Alliance to connect what's now 34 different organizations around the world advancing women in hospitality.
Wow.
It just is so genius to do that. And so I was lucky to meet Rachel by being invited to a meeting, one of her first meetings of the Alliance. And that's how I met David Kong, and volunteered myself, not really understanding what I was getting myself into, to join his podcast because I wanted to learn what made certain people more successful than others. It was always a mystery to me. And so through that, Rachel was invited to join, and I get to work with her super closely. And then the Alliance, working on the speaker directory has been really fun. And I like to work on things that have impact and are game changing. And so working around the edges is fine, but I really want to work on things that can move the needle. And so that's where I am now. So I do the podcast, David Kong's podcast. It's Personal Stories with Rachel, Dorothy Dowling, David, and Rachel Humphrey. And then I work on the Alliance with Rachel. But then my third thing that I just started last spring was to teach a intro to hotel ownership class for hospitality schools at the university level, because for me, it was a huge gift to discover real estate. At that moment, I realized operations was not for me. I loved hospitality, but not operations. And I've discovered in some of the other work I've done, out of over 100 hospitality programs at the college university level, only about a handful offer courses in hotel real estate. And so I thought, as one person, how do I get the word out there? This is an amazing part of the industry that can be hugely lucrative and very rewarding and has amazing people. And by the way, needs more women. And I thought, well, I can take my 30 years of contacts and experience and teach this class. And at the same time, it gives me an opportunity to spend time with the next generation, who are amazing, by the way, and also help introduce an incredible part of the industry to them. So that is really rewarding and another thing that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I wish that I had that opportunity coming up, because Well, I don't check off the women box. That side of being involved with you guys in conversations has always been intriguing, very intriguing to me recently. And I wish I had the foresight to get into that side a lot earlier than a lot earlier period, because I'm not even in that side, but I would love to eventually get into dabble that. So Lan's living my dream, guys.
I know, right?
What are you doing here?
Yeah,
can it be women experience plus Dave? Because that's what it needs to really be.
Yeah, I mean, she's been invested in all these big box hotels, and Dave and I are investing in big boxes. You got a fridge box. I got a washing machine box. That's about as successful as we are in our real estate plays right now.
Taking square footage.
And it may be available for more coaching after Glenn and I show up to be dormant at his hotel one day. So.
I know, Dave, you may need a plan for that.
The plan's very simple. I call the local police. I have 2 crazy homeless people in my lobby. I need to get them taken off.
Do you think it's the first time Glenn and I would be arrested together?
They're like, you guys again?
Stop pretending to be dormant.
You two being together in the tri-state area.
No. Glenn and I, yes, we're both in the tri-state. We might as well be as far from each other as you. And we've talked about this on the show. I see Glenn once a year in California. I don't see him once a year in New York.
Yeah, it's just so much easier for anybody to see me out of town. It's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous.
But you want me to cross Staten Island and Queens to get to you on Long Island?
No, I wouldn't. No, I mean, as much as I would love for you to be back out here, I mean, asking that of you, I appreciate the ask and how difficult that is.
Send the helicopter and I'll come.
It's like it's as bad as somebody asking you to take them to the airport or something like that.
Glenn, you may just have to stock your fridge with something compelling for him to come visit.
Right now we're filled with Miller High Life. What else does Dave need?
That's not.
I'm still close enough to college-aged years, I think. I got a couple grays coming in, but not too.
Don't worry. I'm going to ply Dave with ribs and fresh made pizza and the pizza oven we got here and all of that kind of.
Listen, you guys were talking before. You guys were talking pre-show about things happening in 1995, and it was like, whoa! I was 8 years old when that in 1995.
Speaking of things in 1980, I think in 1995, there's an episode of Friends that they were talking about Boddingtons that they really liked that. I think it really took off at some point. But
that was a low blow, Dave.
Yeah, I'm good for those.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back at you. We'll have.
Listen, we know that there's several key points in our stories here that I have to dig in. One is anytime someone mentions the 90s, and I remind them I was single digits. 2, obviously very tragic event, but 9/11. I was a freshman in high school. Everyone always loves to be aware of that. 2008, I was still in college when all that craziness happened. So while you guys were out struggling with the adult life, I was drinking natty ices in college during the financial crisis.
Let it burn.
Wait a second. You were in high school in 2001, but you were still in college in 2008. So we need to do a little math here. Tell us more.
Sure. 2001, so 4 years of high school, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2000. I graduated in 05. So September of 01 was my freshman year.
All right.
First week of high school. So I graduated high school in 05. Then September of 05, I went to college.
Also, he repeated 10th grade 6 times. But he,
No. 6.5. Okay. And then 2005, September through, I graduated semester 1 in 2010.
Okay.
And so the maths, Lan. Don't try to play me. Okay.
First week of high school to see September 11th was kind of crazy.
Which is also my birthday. And also that day, my high school teachers went on strike. So
you were at home watching TV anyways?
We weren't at home.
You fast asleep at that time?
No. So we get to school. They ended up going on strike. We were all celebrating. I mean, this is the best birthday gift ever. No school. So our day was obviously really messed up already. So we were all in our main auditorium as a collective. There's no TVs. There's no news. It's like 5 administrators watching God knows how many kids. And like 10:30 or whatever time, they bring us to the cafeteria to get lunch, and the teachers are back inside. And we're like, no, go back outside. And they're like, well, we don't think it's right to continue the strike with everything going on. And we're like, what's going on?
going on?
And then obviously that's when I started to kind of roll out what was happening. And again, growing up in Westchester, New York, a lot of people that I went to school with, their parents worked in and around FIDI. So it became a very panicky situation. Cell phones obviously weren't even that big of a thing yet. They were certainly not available. My parents still live not too far from Indian Point Power Plant. So there was always a bunch of concerns that was going to be attacked. So that day became very hectic, very fast. Not to take this mood straight downhill. But long story short, y'all old, I'm young.
Dave, don't get ahead of yourself. You're young-ish.
Right.
I definitely introduce people like Fiona, who you had on recently, who would say you're not so young.
I know. I'm very quickly. My daughter and my son remind me very quickly how out of touch I am with the cultural world.
I want to know how much you paid producer Arnie for that comment, though, David. Was that night stays at Newark? Is that what that was?
I paid him in free shots of tequila.
There you go. Now, on 9/11, Lan, were you at the airport or on an airplane going to?
Way to pick up the mood.
Yeah, right. I pivoted us out, and he brought us right back in.
I had to.
Where was I? I was at the time. I was working at Host, and my husband was working at Marriott. And I remember walking in the door because I'm not a morning person. I was strolling in the door to work, and I saw one of the Marriott Treasury guys walking out. I'm like, "Oh, you going to New York?" And he goes, "Not today." And I go, "That's kind of weird." And I go upstairs to my office, which is right across from the Host boardroom. And we basically put the TV on and we're going in and out. And I'd be in my office and then walking over and was standing in the Host boardroom with some other folks as we watched the first building come down. And I turned around to our head of construction, Matt Richardson at the time. And I'm like, can a plane really do that? Like, is that like, because I would have just stayed in my office till they came to get me. So it was a really crazy day. And I had a good friend who worked in the Pentagon at the time. So I was just speed dialing her again and again and again until she finally picked up. But it was a crazy kind of day. And I think it's definitely one of those things anyone who was alive at the time will remember where they were at that moment.
Yeah, true. That day still funnier than this show. Sorry, too soon.
Yeah,
way too soon. That's never not going to be too soon. Yeah, give him the thumbs down. Drop him off the show. There's the disclaimer we were talking about.
Dave has the
There's the disclaimer we were talking about.
It's like a hockey game. I'm in the penalty box for 2.
All disclaimer. All mentions of this show are not the same of everybody else. We are not doing that. Taking that dip with Glenn.
All right, but Glenn mentioned the penalty.
Dave failing to take advantage of the power play.
Yeah, we can let's talk
where'd my screen
for
go?
half a second because that's my favorite sport to watch. And being a Caps fan, Alex Ovechkin, like so amazing what he did recently. And so I just want to give a shout out, although he's not in our industry, to Alex Ovechkin and one of my favorite hoteliers who also loved hockey, who's no longer with us. Was Kevin. Why am I not remembering names now? Because I've had too much gin.
I would argue not enough gin.
Blame it on Glenn.
It'll come back to me if I have enough gin. But love all my hotel industry friends who also love watching live hockey. So
here's the question: Ovi or Sid the Kid? Who's better?
Well, Ovi. Of course. I mean, as long as I've been a Caps fan, he's been a Cap. I mean, think how long his career is in Washington and how long he's been doing this. It is kind of amazing. And anyways, thank God for the Caps because the Washington football team, whatever they're calling themselves today, I mean, you know, when I first moved to DC with my husband, he's like, oh, the Redskins, this, that, the other thing. And okay, in that first year, and they go and they win the Super Bowl, and they're the greatest. And then since then, they've been wandering in the desert. I mean, since 1992. And
I don't remember them ever winning. I don't remember them ever winning the Super Bowl in my lifetime. So seriously.
I mean, so now that we have like the Caps, and the and now we have a baseball team, it's getting better here in DC. But the Caps for a long time was the only thing that kind of kept us afloat in sports.
What about the Wizards?
What about
exactly?
What about the Senators? Huh? They were a baseball team before.
Yeah, the baseball team.
They were based on the Senators. I think they went to Seattle.
I know,
right?
I forget where they went to, but I'm as a baseball fan, I'm familiar. Remember that awesome hotel we stayed at, Glenn?
Look it up.
Was it Riggs that was overlooking the?
Oh, with the bank where we did the thing in the bank vault,
overlooking the arena though. It was like right in downtown DC.
Yeah, maybe.
We had a rooftop bar that we had a nice dinner at. All right, whatever.
Yeah, we did it. We did. Yes.
At W that overlooked the White House.
Ooh, you know what hotel Lan would really love?
Yeah.
If you've not been there and checked this hotel out, you need to go over to in DC over to Hotel Xena.
Yeah,
that place was awesome.
Yeah, it is an awesome hotel. That's the one that's all themed around women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the AHLA Foundation has done their Build, Elevate Leadership workshop for women at the Hotel Xena. So it was a really cool venue for them to do that.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Xena was an awesome stay. Loved Xena.
He was like, yeah, women, but the hamburger. Now that's something special.
Listen, you see my belly. You know me. Food is always the way to my heart.
All right, did you put up the thing that Kim said?
Yes.
She said to send them to Texas. Thank you, Kim.
Texas.
Yeah.
Which team are they, Kim? Is it the Rangers or the Astros?
Rangers.
I know the answer, I think.
They were the Rangers.
Yeah, it's the Rangers.
Yeah. All right.
Well, listen, Lan, there's nobody that's more knowledgeable about sports than Glenn Houseman. So
well, there you go.
Yeah, I know nothing about sports proudly, but I can tell you about that show in December of '83 when the Grateful Dead, when Jerry actually moved a step to the left. So that was really exciting. So
all right.
Learned.
So Glenn, you were at the Hunter Conference, right?
I was where?
At the Hunter Conference.
I was at the Hunter Conference.
What did you think about, if you attended, what did you think about the guy from the Savannah Bananas?
I did not attend that particular session. However, Lan, I did do an online event with Savannah Banana Guy.
What?
Yes. And this was before everybody knew Savannah.
Jesse Cole, by the way.
Jesse Cole, right. So this guy fucking shows up and he's got this yellow suit thing on. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm thinking, Dave, I've made this reference on the show before. Matthew Lesko, the guy that would want you to right away to get free stuff. Right? And he wore this suit with these question marks and he was really weird. So I thought it was shticky and a little too much. But as soon as he opened his mouth, I'm like, this dude has got it figured out. And he is branding. And I was like blown away by how cool he was. So he converted me and kicked my preconceived notions in the ass like right away. So it was cool and a humbling experience too, No,
he showed up at Hunter on the main stage, a bright yellow tuxedo with tails. He wears it all. That's what he wears. I can't imagine the responsibility.
That's his brand.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. And just like talking about how his whole company was very customer focused. The baseball games are 2 hours max. Yeah, that's it. It off. I don't know how they do that, but they do. And all the things they do that are so customer focused around the experience. I thought, what if we blew up the way we did things and we really started over, right? Because who thinks of baseball in 2 hours? That's just not a thing.
No, it's not. I mean, Glenn and I still talk about, taking this on the road and going down to Savannah, this live at a Bananas game. So I think
yeah, it's our 8th anniversary of saying that we're going to do that.
Yeah, but they have a 3-year waiting list to go see a game.
Yeah, but Glenn can make a phone call and make stuff happen.
Oh, well, Glenn, if you can make that happen, I want to go too. Road trip. Well, I'll fly in. I don't do road trips, but I'll fly in.
I think Craig is being a little hyperbolic right now, but you never know.
Glenn,
You can make it happen.
There's always a way. There's always a way to get into everything. You know?
I mean, what's the harm of asking?
Yeah.
There you go. See, the worst I could say is no.
that's it.
And I bet you the first person that would tell you that is Mr. Jesse Cole. There you go.
Yeah.
Life lesson. Spit take.
Almost.
Glenn, I feel like if you wore bright yellow and sent him a video request, it might work.
Yeah. Probably. I bet you're right about.
We can find you.
We still have the David banana, and we can send him that.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Hey, Dave, Arnie's got a comment.
Go ahead, because I'm working on something.
Yeah, Arnie is saying, Dave, is that too yellow or is it just bad lighting? Yeah, where did you get that? Did you get that at the Men's Warehouse? Dave,
The suit? Honestly, probably.
No, the tie's yellow. Isn't
the tie? I have no idea where the tie came from.
Arnie is questioning the suit color. I don't know, Len. It's a really.
I was trying to save you, Dave. I was doing my best.
I appreciate that, and I see the effort.
Yeah. Don't save Dave, Craig. That should go on a T-shirt, right there.
Don't save Dave. Well, it'll be up on Redbubble tomorrow. The Aloha Craig FNA store.
I love it. We've just given up on trying to get you guys to do that properly because it was just never going to happen. Lan, that was the longest running joke. We didn't even say one simple thing together, and they could never figure it out.
Try it again, David. I'll bet you we can do it.
All right, guys. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get all your Friday Night Audit merchandise, including the Don't Save Dave T-shirt, as well as all the wonderful supplies that we have on there, like pajamas, coasters, wonderful things with Glenn's face, then you only need to do one thing. Head over to the
Red Aloha Craig store.
And that's usually what we get. You wouldn't think it'd be that hard.
I hate when
you guys had merch. You guys have merch too, huh?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Yeah.
We got a warehouse full of it in China. Now it's going to cost everybody twice as much. So we were,
Hey, tariff went down to 80%. Okay.
Yeah. The good news is all of the T-shirts have lead in them, so it'll really going to move them. I think.
Next time you get X-rays, it's a good thing.
Guys,
maybe you can move them to Malaysia, and then maybe they will get a better deal. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Glenn can get that new Rolls Royce without.
Look at that.
Weird.
Oh,
gotta love.
Can you change that to bright yellow, and then maybe we're in business with the Savannah Bananas.
I could do the modern technology today. I can do anything.
So you think that I should just do red suits? That should be my shtick. Think I could pull that off?
Red? That wasn't red. That was orange.
I'm not sure red is your color, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. What would be my color?
I don't know. Do you have a favorite color?
Depression.
That's just a sad color.
Insecurity. That's a good color.
Green would be Glenn's color.
Green? Why green?
It works with my eyes. Craig, I
it's
think
also someone who's on the green screen. He could just be a floating head the entire time.
Can you do that, Dave? Can you make Glenn just a floating eyeballs on a green screen?
We could do that. We could do this though.
Yeah, but now you block out your whole body. I feel like yeah.
All right, now I don't know where I am. All right, I've got a transporter. I've got a transport around the world here. God damn.
No, you gotta check out your new job.
There we
go. My new job.
There's your new uniform.
Wait, sorry.
He made it yellow. All you need to do is stick Glenn's face on it, and then we're ready for the Savannah Bananas request for tickets.
That's weird because it has a little vagueness of me, but not really.
I don't know why they changed the face.
That's weird. They didn't need to do that. They could have just aged me up a little bit.
Or down.
No, because I don't need to worsen the pain for everybody.
Younger.
If I look too young in the picture and then I'm there, I mean, everybody's just going to be like, this dude's got a problem.
That's basically the equivalent of a Tinder switch and bait when, the Tinder picture is one picture.
Yeah, I don't want to catfish my audience. Yeah.
We don't know about any of that and don't want to, Dave, because that feels like a personal thing that maybe, maybe too much. But Glenn, pictures from your media days before you were in hospitality could be kind of fun.
It could be, but everything has to be kind of the right tone and stuff like that. I'm really worried about people thinking I'm trying to put out pictures of me too young, because I used to make fun of people that would put up their.
There we go.
That would put up.
So who is this dude in the suit?
No, the guy. That's Glenn mixed with somebody else.
All right, so that is a picture of me that was taken about 11 years ago, before I started going gray.
Really? Wait, put that back up.
And I had to change my face for some reason, so there's essence of me, but the picture itself.
That's really you?
Well, the general picture is Glenn, but it someone else's face.
Fuck with it. Yeah.
That's the original picture.
There you go. Right, when I was just a baby, 11 years ago.
That is you?
Back when I was still older than Dave.
Wow.
You did
Dave. So Lan, let's go back really, really quick. So you're talking about all this wonderful work you're doing with the organization, with the Alliance. So it's really important work. It really is. So tell people how they can find you guys. I know you're doing the podcast with Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
How can people get engaged with you, with Rachel, to learn more about what you're doing and potentially how to get involved?
And listen, that doesn't mean you get to marry them. Just to be clear. All right, go on.
Is Dave looking for someone to marry?
No, Dave's been married for 16 years.
Get engaged to them, for God's sakes.
So in terms of the Alliance, I would say you can reach out to the Alliance by going to their website, which is whlalliance.org. And from there, if you have women on your team, whether you're a man or a woman, that you think should be in our speaker directory, you can find the email on that website and send us names of people you think should be on our website for speaker directory. And if you would like to be added yourself to the speaker directory, go to whlalliance.org and ask to be added. So it's as simple as that. And we want to make our reach as broad as possible. We launched with 700 women last July, which was basically a handful of people who just put their Rolodexes together. I know I'm dating myself now, but their contact lists together. And we launched with 700 names. And we're now, less than a year later, we're over 1,500 women on the list now. So
wow.
The world, all different areas of hospitality at all different levels. And it's a great resource, not just for people who are putting together conference panels, but also podcasters, media who need quotes, and also people who are putting together advisory boards and recruiters. I use it a lot for recruiters. I got a call from someone who said, I want an asset management person in New York. I'm like, here's 20 women that live in New York that are in management.
All right, so this is weird because I was just going to ask you if Dr. Producer Suzanne was on the list, and then like the heavens, she appears.
Suzanne, there you are.
Good to see you. I could not find a few minutes to make a pop in. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you guys the whole time.
Thank you for helping me out, Suzanne, because I need some help here.
I know. That was the tough one. I was like, I know Lan can handle it with these guys on her own, but are they giving you a hard time? Do I have to get Dave in line again?
No, she's been kicking.
No, it's all good. But if you want to get Dave in line while we watch, I'm good for that too.
Hey, I think we could open up a little betting pool.
Listen, I'll get down on that. Where's the rain? Me and her still have to have that casino run down to Philly.
That's right. Yeah, you and Durain still got to go to the casino.
So, but listen, guys, really, if you want to be involved in that organization, do it. I mean, who better to learn from and be involved with and just have as mentors than Lan and Rachel? I mean, talking about trailblazers in the industry, especially for women, there's nobody better. So get involved with them for sure.
So many amazing women. And I have to tell you, I have to also talk about Rise Up, which is Rita Varga's organization. Because when we first started talking about the speaker directory, I thought spreadsheet, right? I'm a numbers person. I thought spreadsheet. And Rita's like, we can easily convert this like 1, 2, 3 into a website. And so we now have this beautiful website that you can go in and you can do a filtered search. You can say, I'm looking for women in South Florida who have a specialization in commercial, like sales and marketing, and then hit a button and it will download an Excel spreadsheet with all of these women's LinkedIn profiles. And it is just an amazing resource. And it was really Rita's vision to convert what I thought of as a spreadsheet into this beautiful searchable tool, which is now on the Alliance website. And Rachel, it's interesting. I've had headhunters say to me, this is worth a lot of money. People would pay you a lot of money for this list. And I said to Rachel, hey, you and I are retired. We don't make any money. Should we make some money? And she said, no. And she said, no, we should not make money, because she wanted to make the experience as frictionless as possible. So she didn't want anyone to say, I'm not going to go on there and use this resource because it might cost me money. So it is completely free. You just reach out to the Alliance and say, I have a need for XYZ, and Rachel will send you access to the speaker directory. And really, the only reason we don't make it really open and accessible to everybody just on the website is because we want to keep the list away from people who want to use it for sales and marketing and email blasts and all that stuff. That's the only reason. It's not just that you can go online and do it automatically. So we want to make sure this is a great resource, but not a burden for the women who are on the list.
Totally, Lan. I know the pain of that. I keep getting emails for people wanting to help me with my laundry services at No Vacancy Podcasts, because it's very key. My operation here at No Vacancy Podcasts that we have laundry by this third party.
It gets even worse than that. And, every year I get
Wait, Craig, I'm going to interrupt you because I have a burning question. Because Glenn, do you think it's specific to laundry because it's a message?
The people are, those people just they want laundry and they didn't care about the list.
Your laundry in particular.
They're talking about my because I got to bring next week I got to bring it because I've gotten like no less than 50 from different variations of this one company, like telling me that their laundry services are vital to my podcast operations and stuff like that. So you could just see how they're using like plugins and stuff like that, and they don't really care.
Yeah, it's just auto. But listen, guys, speaking of AI, so I was been messing around with some more pictures of Glenn, and I wanted to see how could we change his suit. I took a different picture, changed the suit color. Wait till you guys see the face they gave him.
What the hell?
It's an entirely different person.
I know.
That's
weird.
It looks like
They made a completely different person.
Why would it go through the effort of doing that when you had that picture already of me? They even replaced my hands.
They literally made an entirely different person.
Yeah.
This is the visually presented person they want to be the face of No Vacancy Live. Not what they have.
I keep talking about laundry. This is the next suit color jacket you need to add to the mix because it does kind of elevate. I think it's workable.
I do, and it is spring.
At least this one has like your facial features. I could see it being
It's
you.
like my eyes and my hairline, right? It's weird.
Well, not the stubble.
Well,
They just legit made an entirely new person for you and said,
That is
"Yeah, you're not good enough to be the face of this show, Glenn. So we're gonna change it to this guy."
they also changed the sign. Look at the VA instead of it being different and stuff like that.
Good.
Oh man, that's too funny.
Did they spell vacancy wrong?
I don't know. I didn't check the.
His
I mean,
body's
you can't see the full thing because it's behind
Yeah.
John Doe over here. But
I don't know. It looked like Henry Winkler to me, but I might have had a bit of gin.
Hey.
give me a gimlet. Give me a gimlet.
Giving him too much credit.
The young people will not know who Henry Winkler is.
No, that's not true.
He's
That's not true.
He's
No.
missing a keyboard now on
No, that's very not true.
Training Day Dave watch Barry.
He was the football coach on The Waterboy, and he was on Barry, and that's where he's probably most well known right now is from his Barry time. He's doing a lot of things right now. He's very popular.
Also known as the friendliest guy in show business.
I've heard that too. So yeah, when are we making the Glenn meme? The Glenn meme coin.
I listen. We're told our crypto thing is coming soon. I've been taking a class with Hawk Tua girl. Her crypto went so well, so I'm really gonna learn all of those lessons, and we're gonna apply it here. And then we expect to flee the country. So
Glenn.
Dave, if you start like AI making Glenn look like he's in a yellow suit and top hat for the next 10 episodes, maybe he will fall off these laundry people's email list.
There you go.
That's not a bad idea.
There you go.
I like
Worth a
that.
try.
It's worth a shot. It absolutely is. We were talking about how my favorite thing is when you get a sales pitch in your LinkedIn messaging, and it's like, if you want me to sell you this thing, make sure you schedule your time with me by my link here. And I was like, you are so. You think that I care enough to talk to you that I'm going to go and actively schedule my time with you? No, it's not happening. Immediate ignore.
I love it when I send somebody who's reached out to me and they've had a compelling direct message to me. And I said, okay, here, just give me a call. Here's my cell phone number. And then it's like, no, I want to book a video call. And it's like, oh, no. Pick up the phone and call me. If you are really on top of things, you will just pick up the phone and call me if I give you my cell phone number.
Mhm.
I'm not blocking out an hour out of the day. It's a 5-minute phone call. Just pick up the phone and call.
So
They don't make phone calls. On that note, I gotta run because I gotta go to do a pool party.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming in to help me out.
Yeah.
So got it.
See you later, Mom Power Weekender.
funny thing about LinkedIn messages, by the way, I remember very clearly when I've reached out. So me and Glenn, for those who may not know, we got connected via LinkedIn. That's how we started talking.
For those of you who don't know grammatically, that would be Glenn and I. Go on.
Glenn and I. Fine. Listen, right? Whatever. And so, ironically, I reached out to Glenn, saying, "Hey, I love what you're doing," and I'm trying to see if I can find the message. But hey, I love what you're doing.
About his laundry.
Things like that. If you ever need any help, I would love to work with you. I was an undergrad in broadcast journalism. Blah 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 blah. Well, all right. Actually, I just found it. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
What's the date on it?
Hi, Glenn. January 7th,
2017?
2019.
2019.
Wow.
So I'm a hotel professional, city, suburban night like yourself, blah, blah, blah. I want to say at least so there's no vacancy. Find it tremendous. Been catching up on episodes while at work, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, really brought my two passions together. If I'd be remiss to not ask if there was some chance to get involved. And Glenn was very kind, responded almost immediately. Nice to meet you. Let's chat. Love to get to know more about your goals, blah, blah, blah. But the part that was missing there is Glenn actually sent me a message on October 2nd, 2018.
What?
Saying, "Hi, Glenn here. On Thursday evening in New York City, I'm hosting a networking event and live podcast taping where I'm recording the Hotel Tech podcast and my newest series, Checking In with Glenn and Anthony, with my co-host Anthony Melchiori of Hotel Impossible. We're interviewing Jay Stein, CEO of
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'd love you to join us for this free event." And he sent a link to register. And guess what I did?
What'd you
promptly ignored it.
Yeah.
And then, so when I sent the message to him saying I would love to work with you, I was like, shit, he's going to see that I completely ignored his first message. I'll never forget that.
That's hysterical. I had no idea.
I'll show it to you guys after the show. I'll pop it up on the screen. Only because I have other messages there I can't have seen, blah, blah, blah.
That is
stuff.
And this is the nicest thing ever Dave has done for me. He's given me something to like use against him. This is very special.
I'm so perfect. I take those things when you can because I'm so perfect. But listen, guys, listen. This has been a fun episode. I cannot believe it's already wrapping up.
I know. I know. Yeah.
So, well, then, you've been honestly a great guest. You didn't, we usually, like Glenn says, have to tell guests, jump in there, talk over us, all that stuff. You took that to heart. You jumped in. You have great content. You're throwing digs. You need to come back on very, very soon because you are a tremendous, tremendous guest.
Guest host.
It was great to have you. But listen, guys, usually at this point in the show, we do our shameless plugs. We run the whole thing. It's the best part of the show, all that. Listen, Lana already got her plug in. So if you missed it and you're coming to this part of the show, go back to minute 38 or so, where Lana does a really good number on that. But we're going to kind of circumvent that show because, unfortunately, this show is full of jokes and fun and laughter, but life goes on and life can be very, very serious. And unfortunately, someone who has been part of the Friday Night Audit family, the Click family, the No Vacancy family, life got very serious, especially this person was very close to Craig, more than us, although we've all interacted with him. So, Craig, the stage is yours to talk about a very important person in our lives.
Thank you, David. The industry lost a truly great human being yesterday. And I'm talking about Stephen Medell of Pacifica Hotels. We go back decades. He always had a kind word. He always listened. And just truly a beautiful human. He had a rough year last year medically. But he was always the first one to help you. He was the first one to always stand up for somebody as well. And the world's just going to be a little bit sadder because he's not here. And I always called him Cuz. And he went to Maui for a family wedding, needed a place to stay. So I put him in my place. And called me because my management company had told all the neighbors that one of Craig's family members is coming over. They all knew my mother, so they were all asking him about my mother. So he finally had to take a step away from everybody. Called me, goes, "Tell me about your mom. Everybody's asking about me, about her." And that's when he became Cuz. And left behind a beautiful wife and 2 sons. And a lot of people are going to miss him every day. So, mahalo for everything you've ever done for us, Stephen. And aloha, guys. Love you.
Yeah. There's really not much more to say than that, Glenn.
Nope. Well, thanks all. And we'll see you next week. Lan, you're amazing. We'll miss you, Stephen. Take care. We'll see you next week.